Um, the playoffs. Let's just skip forward to that. What was your assessment of how that played out for you guys?
Yeah, mixed. I think it's disappointing that we went out in 4. I don't think anybody here likes being swept, but still liked a lot of the things that we did within that series. Obviously, there's some room for improvement in the stuff. Liked what our young guys did. A lot of guys took it to the next level in my mind. So it's exciting to see them progress and play at a high level in a high-pressure situation against a good team. So a lot of positives from my perspective to take out of it.
TJ, when we spoke to him a couple hours ago, kind of left things up in the air with regard to next year. How do you kind of process with
Yeah, same way. I met with him, and, he has, it's been impressive to watch, or not impressive, but I guess a lot of respect for what he did here to get to 1,000 games, to get to 300 goals, to help us push in the playoffs, to finish up the year. I thought he played well at the end. To go through what he did physically was impressive to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long you want to keep doing that, but he'll take some time here and see where he's at physically, possible solutions for that, and see how it works out.
Do you have a...
I was gonna say, will you be helping him internally? Is he seeking outside voice? I imagine you guys have already talked to had.
Yeah, I think we've gone down the road with a few guys, specialists, so I think everybody's got relationships here, our staff and doctors that are specialized in that area.
Do you kind of need to know at some point, because I feel like we went this with Backstrom, asking about that, and you didn't know, and that kind of hurt a little bit. It's really early in the process. But do you want to put a date on it?
I'm not going to put a date on what he wants to do. I told him we'll support him in whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Seek solutions. If he determines that at some point he feels good, he wants to come back to play, let's go that way. And if he doesn't, we'll work it out that way too.
Culture-wise, we don't know what he's going to do, but culture-wise, what did he do for this organization?
Yeah, he's a driver of our team. I think he brings energy, he brings compete, he brings life, energy. He's a key part of what we've always accomplished here.
Yeah.
When you look at this season,
Go ahead.
When you look at this season, you wanted to get back in the playoffs, and you did. I know you didn't like the ending, but did this team squeeze pretty much everything out? There could have been games you could have won here and there, but do you feel like you squeezed pretty much everything out of this team?
Yeah, I think so. We started the year with a significantly different lineup. We were lined up Kuzi, Backy, McMichael, Dowd, Strome. So we had 5 guys at center, and we ended up, at a different spot. I think it evolved into something I don't know that we could have anticipated with what went on. But in the end, I think I like the opportunity it gave young guys, and they took advantage of it. So I think it worked out for us.
Charlie Lindgren only has a year left on his contract. Have you started even talking to his representative about an extension? I guess he can sign one as soon as July 1st.
Not yet, yeah. I think we'll go into the year. We'll talk to him. Obviously, we're happy with his performance, and he's a big part of how we played down the stretch and in the playoffs. So we have time to work that out.
Where are conversations at for MacLellan outside of those stuff?
We've had initial conversations. I think we've both communicated we'll wait till the end of the season and then go from there.
Pacioretty and Ovechkin are your only notable UFAs. Is there a possibility to come back?
I'll meet with coaches here. We'll go through lineups and what we think we need, and then we'll make decisions before July 1st on that.
The defensive foundation was clearly laid this year. Where does the offense get made up? Where do the goals come from?
I think some internally, I hope. I think, Lappy takes the next step. I hope Pro starts scoring more. McMichael, he improved this year. I think he'll improve next year. Ovi will get 42. We got him penciled in for 42, I think it is. Is it 42?
Last day of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. So we should be good. No, I think we're going to look outside too. I mean, I think trades and free agency. I think we need to add something in that area. We need to get a little more skill, a little more goals. We find a way to do that. I think both ways, externally and internally, we need to improve some of our young guys.
It's been limited in past years, the ability to go outside because of salary cap, et cetera. Is that, quote unquote, easier? Are you set up to do that?
I think we have more flexibility going forward here. I mean, we'll see what the market is. Salary cap will go up a little bit, so it'll give teams a little more room. We've acquired some draft capital. I would anticipate we're going to have some room to use that. So we'll see what it brings.
Spencer talked about.
Go ahead. Do you think you're going to have clarity on Nick at some point this offseason?
I don't know. We'll see.
Spencer talked about the need for more speed as well. How do you guys address that?
I guess I think the young guys provided speed. I think, we're transitioning from an older team to a younger team, and I think it naturally happens. All our young guys are our fastest players every night. So as we transition, I think we'll get faster.
What do the young guys and Mikey LaPierre have to do to take that next step?
I think it's just growth. I think it's, playing at a high level, physically maturing, adding to your game, finding ways to score goals, finding ways to operate in a tight game. And I think that 4 games we just played was a huge part of that. It's New York played a physical style. They put a lot of pressure on guys, and I think it's a great learning for them to see, hey, this is a strong game. This is a man's game. I need to get stronger, or I need to get quicker, or they can feel it out there, the level that game was at, and they feel where they're at, I think. And so it's up to them individually. We'll help them out, but they'll improve in all the areas.
How do you see the goaltending situation going into the offseason and into next season?
I think season kind of got away from Kemp's a little bit. I think he's a good goalie. I think if you look, he's been a consistent, good goalie for a long, long time. I think, the season, partly because we struggled in certain areas at certain times, and it got away from him a little bit. Performance probably wasn't at his standard that he would like to be at. And then, Chuck kind of played really well. So it kind of went away from him with that. And I think the coaches, or the team, we were under pressure to win every night. So they went with Chucky. And the longer that time goes on, I think it's harder for Kemps to get back in the rotation and compete for a spot back. So season got away from him. I would anticipate that, given his track record of consistency, that he would come back and have a good year next year.
You kind of joked about it, but Ovi 42 goals obviously breaks the record. But what you saw from Ovi outside this playoff series, the last, in the All-Star break on, you think that's what you can expect from the next year? And what do you think?
Well, I mean, he's I don't think it's fair to he's 38 years old. We can't come in and say he's got to carry us or he's got to get 50 goals or whatever. I was joking about the 42. I didn't think you could take me serious, Tom.
But I guess what do you expect from Ovi? Is more of what you saw in the last 36 games than the first whatever it was.
Yeah, I think you're going to get both. I would expect both. I think he's going to have times where you look like he still has it, and he's playing well, and he's moving well, and he's scoring, and there's going to be lulls in his game. I mean, the schedule is going to, grind on a 38-year-old. We're traveling a lot, playing every second night, 2 and 3s. It's hard for older players to play at a high level of consistency. It's just not set up for that physically and mentally.
So I guess you obviously want to get better for in other areas. just in general, but to help him, is that also part of it too, to take some of the pressure off him and maybe help him be more productive?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, he's expected to carry us offensively at 38 is probably not fair. But, we lost a couple offensive players. We got young guys coming in, so that's just the circumstance we're in. And we're going to look to, get some help here too, if we can find it.
Brian, you're cut off a year, when you missed the playoffs, another year where you got in the last night and were swept out. Do you think roster-wise and cap-wise and trade-wise, you're in position to create a situation that next year you're adding at the deadline, like you're better positioned than not playing playoff games for 3 straight months, or is that not reasonable?
I would anticipate if we could do something. I mean, I don't know that we looked out of place in the playoffs. I get the whole goal differential thing. I mean, if we could add a player or two, I don't know that we're top 8, but you can be in that next group, though. I think we're in that group already, where there's a bunch of teams that didn't make the playoffs, 16 teams, and there's going to be 3 more here. So there's a level of play that the top 8 to 10 teams are at. I think we can get close to that. That would be our goal.
How many, you talk about speed and scoring, are we talking like maybe 2 top 6 forwards? Like what's your target?
I don't know. I mean, I want to leave room for our guys to grow. And then, I want to get with the coaching staff and target a couple areas that I think or hopefully they think we need.
Well, speaking of your coaching staff, the head coach said you guys need more size on the back end. Do you agree there?
I don't know. I thought Big Al had a really good playoff. He's got good size. I mean, I think last year we weren't sure when we added Edmondson. I liked what Alexiev did at the end. I thought he played physical. I thought he was real competitive, moved the puck well. I think he took it to another level right at the end of the year, the playoffs especially.
How does TJ's decision to play affect your kind of roster construction this summer in terms of whether you either have this LTI space to use or have him?
Well, I mean, he's a big part of our team. He's a top 6 guy. 5.75, I think the number is. You have him, or you go out and find a guy.
I know Barry asked you about Backstrom, just to follow up. It's just status quo with him. You just expect him to remain in the LTI, not on the team next year.
That's what I would anticipate.
Mac, what's your hope with Hendricks going to Hershey, and he won the Cup last year? He did so well this year. What are you hoping to see from him now that he's?
I would like to see offense down there. It appeared to me that he got a little more confident here as we went on. A great goal, obviously, the other night. I think going down there with some confidence, knowing that he could do it at this level, I would hopefully like to see him, score some goals, make some great plays, and help that team in the playoffs.
One of the other core guys that we haven't talked about is Carlson, who's basically playing a half an hour a night during the playoffs. Can he still do it? Can he still be that anchor guy in the game?
I think he can. I think he did it this year. I think it was in a unique situation in that, we had 2 top 4 guys out for an extended period of time, and he filled in for him. I don't think we want him playing that much, I think we could take a little of that penalty kill time away from him too, so we could, a more normal workload, I think would benefit him going forward.
The potential use of a buyout, do you think that might be something you guys would use this year?
I don't think so. I don't see it happening.
Ethan Bear, is there anything you can share with us about?
He just got out of the program. He just got released for the program, yeah. So hopefully we'll see him here, or I'll meet with him. I think he met with Carbs today or
so
tomorrow. He's back in town. He just got back in town today.
Good.
What have you learned about the program? Obviously, there's a certain level they can't tell you kind of why and what. But what have you learned about kind of players being able to use that program, Kuzi and I guess even?
I mean, I don't. We don't get much information on it. I think the parameters of the program are confidential. How they go in are confidential, and how they come out are confidential. Any information I get is from talking to the individuals, and that's about it.
Carps had a great quote. He said, I feel like I lost a few years off of my life, and he said if I had the air, I would have turned a little more gray. What was this roller coaster of a season like for you personally, as it just lives and dies with every shift?
Yeah, I mean, it was, like I talked earlier, it was where we started and where we finished. You couldn't anticipate any of that, So and then you're in the playoffs and you're playing New York in New York. I mean, it was a pretty wild run. Fun. It was a lot of fun to see the compete down the stretch. I mean, that was the best part of the season for me. Seeing the effort everybody put into getting into the playoffs. Yeah. I think that was huge for our organization.
You obviously had a culture established here by guys who have won the cup, but to get that compete over that last couple months, the coach must have been, they could have blown off the coach a long time ago because he's never done it, whatever. You must have seen something in Spencer over that.
Yeah, I mean, he brought the intensity. He turned it up on a nightly basis. So I think that's part of, how he's feeling. That our playoffs started a while ago. The intensity, the compete, and then, you lose a game and it's so disappointing for whatever reason. And I think there's a lot of energy that goes out and is put into that to get us back to the next level, the next night.
Right.
You're continually addressing that. And our schedule, I think down the stretch was every second night for 5-6 weeks.
Back on the blast.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it was a grind. And it just set up that way. We had an easy schedule at the beginning, a lot of days off, and then at the end we paid the price. So, and then we got through it. And I think it's intense, it's competitive, and it's tiring.
Charlie told us that he turned down an invitation from U.S. for the World Championships. Anybody from your team going to World Championships?
I think I heard Marty's going.
Okay.
That's the only one so far.
What did you think of Spencer's job and the adjustments he made throughout the season to kind of injuries and kind of style of play and kind of navigating his first season as NHL coach?
Yeah, I thought he's excellent. I mean, he's a good young coach. He has a good mind for the game. Brings energy every day. Does a good job with, addressing issues that come up during the year with players. Constantly trying to make players better. I think he has a really good skill set. I think that's his first year. I think he's only going to get better from here on out.
Happy with the staff in general, as currently?
Yeah, I think I think one thing we're gonna we have to take a look at our specialty teams both. Find some answers, whether it's personnel or try and make some improvements there.
Specialty face-offs. When Pekka was here during COVID, you guys made a big improvement. We went to the Rangers and we just saw what he did with Trocheck. Is that a thing that's going to become like a specialty job, like someone who works?
Yeah, I mean, we've always tried to look for a guy that can come in and do that, and we continue to. It's hard to find a guy that has that skill set.
Yeah.